Hi friends, welcome to my channel, YPDDS. I am your host, go YPDDS. So I know it's been a hot minute since I last made a video, and I figured I should give you guys an update on what's going on here at Smile Modern. Now, if you just stumbled across my channel, welcome. To give you kind of like an insight on the reason why I created this channel is because a year ago, I quit my job to do this journey with Chris, who is the founder and owner of Smile Modern. And his dream was always to own his own dental practice. However, I noticed the one thing he needed help on was the hospitality side. And don't get me wrong, Chris isn't rude or anything like that, but it's more like one person can't do everything. You gotta have a good team. Okay, so I decided once again to quit my job and do this journey with him, since my background is in hospitality, from theme parks, hotels, restaurants. I'm really big on service, and it's been really of an emotional roller coaster is the best way I could describe this, because when I first started doing this with him, I wanted to do more research on figuring out where can I find more information from an actual person, like perspective on this journey, whether they were already an existing office owner or they're just new documenting their journey. And guess what? I couldn't find a lot of information. I was able to find some through like Instagram per se, but not so much in general, like over YouTube or Google. I found a lot of professional where it's like, hey, we could get you X amount of patients, but that wasn't what I was looking for. I was looking just for more of the experience and to learn from this particular individual of what was successful for them and what didn't work. I did listen to podcasts, which is helpful, but once again, I'm more of a visual person, so I need to like see it. And that is where YPDDS was born. And I'm so sorry, I haven't made a video in such a long time just because we've actually gotten a bit busier. Yay! And I think I'm ready to share with you guys updates on what's been going on with us and how we've been keeping our doors open, staying afloat during this crazy pandemic time. Now, earlier March is when we got the email saying that, they highly recommend that you close your office and only be open for emergencies. Considering the fact that we were still a new office, barely getting our feet in the water and getting our schedule filled up, because we were only open for 3 days. And out of those 3 days, my Saturdays booked without a problem, because there's not a lot of offices here that are open on Saturdays, so I didn't have to worry about that. But it was my Tuesdays and my Fridays I was a little bit nervous, because sometimes we'll only get 2 people on the schedule or 3 people, and if I'm really lucky I get 5 people. But it was hard, and to hear that we have to close, that really stressed me out from a financials perspective, because I wasn't bringing in income and only Chris was. So for him to literally cannot work, it's like, what are we gonna do? Will we be able to be open financially? Because guess what, our rent was still due. We still had other bills that we had to pay. It's not like, oh, here's the pandemic, everything's like, stop, you don't have to pay. No, because other people need to survive as well, because they're operating a business, and I understand. And it was hard, but we got through it. So one of the things I admire about Chris was throughout the whole time, any update we received, he was on top of it, making sure, getting the loans that he could get, seeing what are the new criteria when we reopen, what do we need to make changes in our office, so that way it's safe for our staff and our patients. And then my job was actually to brainstorm social media content, because I took this time as like, hey, if we're not open, we could focus on creating content for marketing purposes to make sure that we're still on top of it, that people could still find us, and when they do, they can see fresh posts or stories, whatnot. Because the last thing I want is to not do anything and then just go like, well, I hope they find us, because that's not how it works. Okay, you can't stay silent, you can't not be active. So from that, we actually got a couple of new patients from the Disney community. Shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. But I actually wanted to show you some updates we made in our office. Come along, guys. And yes, it's Monday and I'm the only one here, hence why there's no lights, because, you know, girl gotta save her, she gotta save. Oh, and also a patient gifted us this cute, adorable sign. I love our patients, they're so sweet. Okay, so when you come in, we have the air purifiers here. There's gonna be one in every room. So we have one here in the reception, and then we also have one in our operatory rooms. There is, oh, it's so clean, but as you can tell, this is a sneeze guard. So when they come in, I'm like protected from the glass. And then we also have a sign on our door to remind people, please wear your mask. Of course, you gotta have your hand sanitizer, because that's important. And then turn on the lights for you. Just for you guys, let's turn on the lights. Our refreshment bar, we have it stocked up with water, and then there's a couple different sparkling waters, and then we also have juices here. But instead of you grabbing it, I'm actually the one getting it for you guys. So you don't have to touch anything, and then I actually have a tray. And then in our operatory room, ta-da! Okay, so over here it just shows like what we sell. And then we have this beautiful mirror, so you can check it out yourself afterwards. But we included these buckets for purses, bags, because you know you don't want your stuff on the floor. And then we definitely do disinfect afterwards. These are really great because super easy to clean. I love it, and we got these at Daiso, so that's awesome. And then we have another air purifier here with the UV light. And then we also have a bucket for your mask, which is going to be separate from your bag, along with hydrogen peroxide. So what we do is we do 1-to-3 ratio of hydrogen peroxide, mouth rinse, and water to ask the patient to pre-rinse their mouths for 30 seconds. That way it could help reduce any of the bacteria in their mouth. Of course, more hand sanitizer. We also wrap our remote controller with a barrier, so it keeps it, you know, just cleaner. And of course we sterilize this afterwards to clean it. And then one of my favorite things that we did for our staff is, this is our rack where we actually purchased for our assistant these lovely Cherokee fluid-free jackets. So she gets one. Every patient she sees, she gets a new jacket. And yes, there's actually more in here. I just haven't hung it up yet. Shout out to Dolly. She made these surgical caps for us, and it's super cute. They're like Alice in Wonderland. So yeah. But the reason why we got the team, you know, the jackets, it's because the last thing you want is you invest in all this new, you know, things, right? And then guess what? Your assistant is wearing the jacket and she's wearing it the whole day, or he's wearing it the whole day. There's probably water and saliva and who knows what else is on their jacket, and they're not changing it out. It's kind of gross, right? So for us, it's every patient we see, we make sure our staff has a new jacket so it's clean, because that's everyone's biggest concern is it clean, is it sterile? We definitely do temperature checks when patients come in, and then we also have a pre-COVID screening form that I do make them fill out. And of course, if they're not feeling well, we ask them to let us know. And then this is also my fancy setup where I put my, we got a calendar and a Post-it. So I like set this up here. And then voila, I have a stand. But yeah, so that's what's been going on with us. And then, what was I gonna say? So that's kind of like what we've added on. And with all these new changes, we were able to open our doors again early May, or mid-May actually. It was really fun actually, because I don't know how to describe it, but we've gained more patients. We also opened up another day, so we're here 4 days now, and business has been going good. I mean, are we at the level where I definitely see ourselves? Not yet, but we're working on getting there. And the only way I could describe it to how we made it this far is thank you to our current patients who've been referring families and friends, leaving reviews. Like, that really helps. I would say if you're in office and you're not asking patients to leave a review, don't be shy, because I mean, I'm for one really shy, but kind of got over it. And I just said like, hey, if you have time, that's great. Not everyone does, but it's okay. Even if you ask like 5 people, but only 1 out of 5 does it, that's a win, you know? But yeah, however, there were some things that Chris and I had to look at as far as the financial standpoint, because we were putting a lot of stuff on credit cards. And finally, we're at a point where we could stop doing that. So that's a nice little yay. You know, I definitely feel like I could breathe now, where I'm not feeling so scared. Like, of course, there's moments where I'm like, what's going on? For example, this week, it's been a little bit more quiet. We haven't gotten a lot of like new patient requests. So I'm kind of going like, but then at the same time, we're booked out till September. So what if it's people looking at our online availability and going, oh, I can't see them sooner. I'd rather go to someone else that, you know, is open. That's something that crosses my mind. But to say that like, guys, we're booked out till September and we open up an extra day, like I would have never imagined seeing us in this position. You know, if it was last year, you asked me this, I'm like, you're crazy. No, that's not gonna happen. So we're just gonna keep doing us and being a fun office and enjoying what we do and just making sure everyone feels comfortable, because that's the best advice I could give you is be yourself. Don't try to be anybody but yourself. If you're thinking about opening an office, do your research. Like, definitely look at the financial standpoint. If you have to get a financial advisor, please make sure you get one that's actually useful, because they're not cheap. Know where you want your money spent. Because there are some things that, you know, we talked about. We're like, oh, we wish we did this instead of that, you know, but I don't want to say what's done, and you gotta just like deal with the cards you're dealt with. But for us, we're just gonna keep focusing on honing our brand and growing it. And as y'all know, we focus on being personable, homey, and chic. We have our niche, which is the Disney, and I can't imagine my life without Disney, honestly, because the majority of our patients are actually, I call them Disney patients. I call you guys Disney patients because, you know, you would not have found us if it wasn't for the Disney community. So thank you so much for that. For our non-Disney patients, you know, you guys definitely believed in us as we're still growing. So I appreciate it a lot. But yeah, so we're not closing our doors anytime soon, even though that was my dot in March. But I really feel this year, even with a pandemic, we're going to be okay. And I can't promise that, you know, there won't be bumps in the road. But if there is, just know that there's no point in freaking out. You just have to have a plan. Because I'll be honest, I had a couple moments. My really good friends know what I'm talking about. There was moments where I broke down crying and just going like, I don't think I could do this anymore because it's a big financial commitment. This isn't something easy. And you just have to learn what is your business style and go from there. But yeah, till then, thanks guys for listening. Bye. Bye guys.